Jay, who's a regular commentator to the commenter on the stream, who seems to be sort of stuck in about 1950 or something, says it's all about chemistry. You have poor Pookie Ray Rays, which is a term I'm not familiar with. Deadbeat men who still conquer the love of many women. They don't know game, but they get girls. And then he says chemistry and looks at times beats game. So the thing with this is, right, and Jay, as much as I love your contributions, the issue here is that, yes, it is all about chemistry, but chemistry is game. In game, if you wanted to define game, it is, okay, so how do I generate chemistry with this woman that I've just met? Okay, and that's exactly what Michael is, sorry, I pointed the wrong way. That's exactly what Michael is teaching. Like what you're teaching, Michael, really, let's leave looks to one side. But what you're teaching here really is how to is a shortcut to generating chemistry, right?
Absolutely, it's all about chemistry.
Yeah, chemistry is game. Game really is, and everybody. And I know that you don't agree with the methodology of some of the older, the pickup guys or whatever, right? Fair enough. But everybody really has been searching for the golden key, which is, okay, what do I do in order to generate chemistry? That's what game is, right?
Absolutely, it is for sure. And I think that the only faculty that have the answer of that is those scientists that studying human behavior.
Yes,
the communications experts, psychologists, and those together making very, very powerful papers that can support certain claim. And then it's up to us to take the best theory and make it practical.
So yeah, exactly. But I agree. So I agree with him that some of these guys may not know game, but they get girls. Well, okay, fine. They may not know. Probably somehow naturally they've acquired the skill set, but for most of us who don't have it naturally, it's something that needs to be learned. Okay, so he says, all right, so what do you think about this, Silk? So sorry, I'm going to jump ahead because he's come back. Chemistry is not game. Chemistry is connection. You either click with a woman or not. All right, so what do you think about that? Do you agree?
Also, it depends on what you define game, but let's say that the right communication tools or the right conversational framework is a game. Yeah, then chemistry is a game.
Well, okay. What about the final part? You either click with a woman or not. Do you agree with that? Like, basically, if I go to the mall in Warsaw and I talk to a girl, I talk to, say, 10 girls, is it just a matter of do I click with her or not? Do you agree with that?
Not really, but I mean, men and women works differently in terms of how we pursue attraction. I mean, okay, we feel attraction probably in pretty much the same way, but the route to that attraction is completely different. While men are because he says here, you either click with the woman or not. And I mean, because you either click with the woman or not, then we're coming from our own perspective as men. And we click with the woman many times based on her appearance, because we are very visual beings. There are so many studies out there. But the opposite, though, doesn't work the same way. And that is what the men got wrong. They're thinking that how I see a girl and find her attractive is probably the same way around. Like, this is probably how the girl would look at me in the same way. And that is actually a misconception, I believe.
Well, I mean,
very strongly.
I would fundamentally disagree with. I mean, I agree. Okay, I agree that there are some people that you click with more than others. That is true. And also the other thing as well is that there are just going to be a bunch of women who are just not available. They're just like, they're engaged, they've got a boyfriend, they're whatever, they're not interested in dating, whatever, right? There's going to be a bunch of women who are just not available. So, okay, fine. But when you say you either click with her or not, whether you click with her or not partly depends on what you say to her, what you do when you walk up. So if I walk up to a woman and I go, I've got my head down, I'm not going eye contact, oh, hi, yeah. It's very unlikely I'm going to click with that woman because of the way I've acted, because of what I've done, because of the things that I've said or not said. If I go up to her and approach her in a different way and say different things, and maybe do, what some of the things that you're teaching, is the likelihood that I'm going to click with her higher? Well, of course it is. So to say that you either just click with her or not, and you have no influence over it whatsoever, is obviously not true, because it's very, very clear that the things that you do in front of that woman are going to affect the outcome, right?
It's almost okay. So now I really, really get what I mean. So you either click with the woman or not. It's like, it's almost like, as you said, Troy, I mean, she can actually give you a chance to do something, as we notice a lot of times. And if you don't manage to make a good impression, you will not click with her, or she will not click with you. and it's not going to be okay. So most of the time, it's not like she's looking at you for 1 second and then just, no, the chemistry is not there. She will give you a chance to see if there is any chemistry, within that short interaction you have with her. So it's up to us to actually utilize the right methodology to make us, interesting in order to get to that point of the chemistry thing. But the chemistry doesn't come that fast. It's not like this kind of thing. It can be, but if she give you a chance, the chemistry is not like that. Most of the time, it takes sort of some kind of conversation before you're getting there.
I think so. So here's my perspective. I think there's like, as always, there's kind of shades and there's nuances of this stuff. I think there are some people that you can just meet and, for whatever reason, it seems like there's more of an immediate connection. So that's one thing. I also think that there's plenty of women that you can meet, and whatever you do, it's probably just not going to, she's just not interested for whatever reason. So, okay, putting them to one side. But and this is what we always say about game, or whatever you want to call it, is that the ones in the middle, it's very much dependent on, this is where the game is played, right? Because it's what you're doing effectively is seeking to create chemistry by the things that you say, by your body language, by your eye contacts, if you're using some touch and things like this. That's really what you're doing. And it does work, because I know for a fact that a number of women, when I started to learn about some of these things and I started to practice it and I started to become more proficient socially, magically, the number of women that I clicked with suddenly started to go up exponentially. Do you know what I mean? Well, is that just coincidence? Well, obviously not. It's because I'm doing different things. All right. So this is almost like a black pill argument, right? Really, it's just there's nothing you can do. You're either click with her or not. So fuck you. Okay, fine. So let's not make an effort. It's
exactly. That's what I meant. Yeah.
But it's just not true, because you know as well, don't you, Michael, from the students you've worked with, like the guys, the Flying Dutchman and people like that. Like he wasn't clicking with many women.
Not at all.
Actually, he wasn't clicking with women, and then he worked with you. And then all of a sudden, he's clicking with women. So clearly, it's influenced by one's behavior.
Absolutely, 100%. So I mean, influence is based on how you can make her feel about you, and if you want, and that part can only be within the conversation you're having with her. And if you're doing it right, you will for sure influence her to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a conversation at all, or you're doing it in the wrong way, you will not influence her, and therefore there's no chemistry.
And therefore there's no click. So, this is what we're saying. Like, yes, there's an element of chemistry that I think is indefinable, and it is kind of maybe just natural. And some people, there might be some pheromonal basis. So I don't know what it is, right? There are some people that I've clicked with it very naturally, and it's happened more easily.